revealed only one member of failed SVB's board had a career in investment banking. The rest were Obama Clinton mega donors who grieved when Trump won, including one who went to a Shinto shrine to pray. Really? You stopped hiring people that were competent and had experience in the field that you wanted them to work in, and started hiring people purely based off whether or not they gave money to the right politically connected people, or were insufferably woke, or if they had a set of beef curtains, and then you went bankrupt. Weird that, innit? Okay, in a move that will surprise absolutely nobody with anything above a room temperature IQ, it turns out that SVB collapsed because the people that work for SVB at the very, very top couldn't run a piss-up in a brewery. It's one thing if you hire some drones to work at the bottom of the chain, do you know what I mean? If you've got a janitor who strikes you as being a bit of a plank, right? He's 43 but he's still got Velcro shoes on. That's not the end of the world, is it? You can get by with a few diversity hires. It was the same when I was at Limston at the Commando Training Centre. The government used to want to throw a few bones to the diversity stars, so you'd have a couple of special needs cleaners. You know, occasionally you'd round a corner and see two of the Downies bumming each other. Well, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. As long as the rest of the camp are training to kill people all day, every day. You've got crack commandos, you know, doing pull-ups and running up and down the hill and shooting at the pistol range. You can let a couple of Downies engage in some mutual masturbation in the dark and the dank corridors. It's not the end of the world. But if the people at the very, very top are severely mentally deficient, then you've got a problem. Do you see what I'm saying? If the Colonel, the Arctic Camp and all of the training staff at the Royal Marines Training Centre were all the Downies, then you're in serious, serious trouble. And this is exactly what happened with SVB. Let's have a look. According to the Daily Mail, Tom King was the only member of the entire board who had any experience in banking. Yeah, one person. Can you imagine the job interview? Why do you want to work for SVB? Dunno. Have you got any experience? Nah. So why then? Love Trump's hate? You're hired. The others were major Obama and Clinton mega donors, including one who cried when Trump won in 2016. In the cutthroat world of investment banking, you may have to make hard decisions. You think you're up to it? Well, yeah, but I did cry when the election didn't go my way. Get out of my office, you howling spunk Bowser. Get out! That's how the interview should have went, if the world still made sense. The board is now being investigated for its failure to act ahead of the bank's collapse, as some argue it was too focused on being woke. Who cares what they have to say about anything? Those dirty, logical creatures that inhabit reality. We don't want to have to deal with them when we're making decisions on behalf of hundreds of thousands of investors and members of the general public that have entrusted us to look after their money, and we have a legal requirement to do so. No, we don't. We don't care about feels before reels. Feels before reels. At SVB, Tom King was appointed to the board after serving as the CEO of investment banking at Barclays. He had 35 years of experience in the industry, but he's the only one on the board with a career in the financial industry. The others were major donors to former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Obama and President Joe Biden. Yeah, so no experience at all. Not even that. No intestinal fortitude. Not only did they have, I'm sure if I really had to, I could probably do a passable job as a low-level banking employee, just with my own common sense. But I never burst into tears when Joe Biden won the election, and I never went and had a little cry at a Shinto shrine. So the difference between me and these people is night and day. And even I know I'm not qualified to be on the board at an investment bank. Let's have a look at some of them, shall we? Let's have a look at some of these clueless Karens that are now currently crashing the economy again. Kate Mitchell co-founded the National Venture Capitalist Association, which focused on advancing opportunities for women and underrepresented minorities in the venture ecosystem. Where's my money, Kate? Where's my money? To quote Joe Pesci off Goodfellas, fuck you, pay me. Mary J. Miller, a former Undersecretary of Domestic Finance for the US Department of Treasury who ran in the Baltimore mayoral race as a Democrat, also served on the board. She sounds like Lori Lightbulbhead, and Lori Lightbulbhead couldn't be trusted to run a lemonade stand in my front garden. Kate Mitchell donated $50,000 to Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential run and cried when Trump won. She said she went to a Shinto shrine while on a trip to Kyoto to pray. I prayed for me and for us to get beyond our grieving and shock. Well, I'm praying for my fucking money, love. Let's see how far prayer gets us, shall we? Let's do it. Oh, I'm still skint. And according to Fox, the head of risk assessment at SVB invested in LGBTQ programs in the months leading up to the shutdown. In the months leading up to a shutdown, they were obsessing over whether or not the LGBT community was getting the rocks off. What's it got to do with banking? Was one of them dyslexic or it was a typo and they accidentally hit the W? Wanking. If they were obsessed with the wanking industry, then I would understand donating to the LGBT community. They love a good time. I've been to the discos. There was a drink special on. Honest. Wanking industry, crack on. Promote the shit out of it in the gay discos. Banking industry, shut up and do your job. Invest, manage risk. Easy in it. Just 4 months before the bank was shut down, Aspara, who labels herself as a queer person of colour and a first-generation immigrant, was included on their outstanding LGBT plus role models list 2022. I've seen enough. I don't need to make this video go on any longer. I don't need to labour the point. As people like you, dear listeners, and me, normal, reasonable, sensible people, have said for many, many years, when you start running your country and your economy based entirely off people's immutable characteristics rather than whether or not they are competent, when you stop having a meritocracy and live instead in a ludicrous wokeocracy, where whether or not you get a good job has nothing to do with your timekeeping and your intelligence and your work ethic, and everything to do with how many sailors' cocks you had to spit out before you could reply to the interviewer or when you went to your job interview. This is where you end up, totally shagged. As I've been saying for years, strap yourselves in, boys and girls, because it's going to get much, much worse before it gets better, until we go back to the days when the best person for the job got the job based off rigorous criteria and an arduous selection process. Things are only going to get much, much worse because nobody at the top of any of these big organisations anymore has a fucking clue what they're doing. Alright, thanks for watching everyone. I'll see you all very soon. Don't forget to like it and share it. Cheers.